it's very unedifying. I know what he's been accused of, and I think it's terrible, and I'm sure he's been stupid and done all sorts of stupid things. So should he speak to the authorities? I think probably he should, is my honest answer. But should we continue to hound this guy like he's going on? No, we should not.
The former Prince Andrew could lose his Falklands campaign medal. Quite a bit of talk about that today. Buckingham Palace hasn't ruled it out. So Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor will have his last honorary rank taken from him by the MOD, we know that. He had been made a Vice Admiral for his 55th birthday back in 2015, and it seems he's going to lose that very, very soon. Let's bring in Major General Tim Cross, former British Army officer and military logistics expert. Major General Cross, can you tell us exactly who got a Falklands campaign medal? Would it go to absolutely everybody involved with the campaign, including those who didn't actually go to the Falklands?
Well, these things are, they're quite complicated. Every operation is given a name, and then everybody who deploys on that operation gets a medal. But the deployment is the issue. And there was some controversy over whether people who, for example, deployed to the Ascension Islands should also get the Falklands Medal, as opposed to going into the Falklands itself, and indeed those who supported it from elsewhere. I think the bottom line is, in terms of the conversation, is that anybody who set foot on the Falklands Islands during the campaign got a Falkland Islands Medal.
Right. Whether they were in the catering corps or on the front line.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody who serves in a theatre of operations, particularly in a campaign like that, is, the blokes who were serving on the ships. Doesn't matter whether you were the chef or the captain of the ship. If the ship got hit, you were just as much in danger as anybody else.
Of course, and lots of listeners to Times Radio have made that point. And in fact, as far as we can tell, and obviously it's just the people who've messaged in this afternoon, there's the overwhelming belief is that he should hang on to this medal because it's one of the few rather good things that he's done. And I say rather good, it's one of the few very brave things he's done in his life. What do you think?
Well, I'm delighted to hear it. I just find it, we've got to be careful here because clearly there's all sorts of issues here and he's been accused of lots of stuff. However, he's not been found guilty of anything. And I think the way the world is dumping on him is pretty unsavoury, frankly. And I think the idea of taking this medal off him would be a disgrace. The guy served bravely in the campaign alongside everybody else, and he thoroughly deserved his medal, and he should hang on to it.
Yes. Can I just ask you a little bit about exactly what he did? He was a Sea King helicopter pilot. Yeah. There is a debate, and I'm sure you're aware of it, about exactly what he did and just how vulnerable he was allowed to be. What do you know about what he did?
Well, I didn't serve in the Falklands. Funny enough, I was doing a master's degree in guided weapons. So every day we were on the course, we were looking at the weapons that were being used. And those weapons were being carried by helicopters as well as by ships and obviously people in the land environment and so forth and in the air. He was a Sea King pilot, and I don't know that he actually landed on the ground, but he was certainly there when the air campaign was pretty intensive and as vulnerable as anybody else. I mean, he was serving in the area around the Falklands with the task force. Taking off with his helicopter, delivering stuff, delivering people, supplies, etc., and so forth. I don't know specifically what he did, frankly, but the bottom line is, in a way, to be brutal about it, I don't care what he did. He was flying a helicopter in a very dangerous theatre of operations, and he thoroughly deserved to get his medal.
Yes, and I think there had been a debate about whether he should go at all, and my understanding is that the late Queen said he absolutely should.
Yeah, there has been that debate in the same way as there has been for every member of the royal family who served in the military one way or the other. The other guy, of course, who the media loves to dump on is the other prince who served in Afghanistan as an Apache pilot. I mean, these guys, served alongside their military mates and their organizations, their units, etc. And quite rightly, I think the Queen did say that I think she said there's no reason why he should not go. She didn't want to stop him going. And as far as I'm aware, he was as keen to go as the others have been in these operations.
Can you just give us an insight into how serving members of the military regard the royal family? Because those of us who aren't military people, we see the royals lined up with their prodigious number of medals. And as you point out, with the exception of Princes Andrew and Harry, they haven't actually earned them in the more traditional way, have they? What do the military think of them?
Well, when you say they haven't earned them, I think, we don't want to go down too many rabbit holes, but I think one of Harry's most content times, his happiest times, is when he was serving in the military. And he was well thought of. The guys who served alongside him almost always spoke well of him, as they did with Prince William in the RAF. And Princess Anne, for example, didn't serve in the military, but I saw her a lot on operations over the years that I served. People accept them; they become part of the team. And the guys, I didn't meet Harry or Prince Andrew in their military service, but I've met many of the royals in over my time in the military. They are very well thought of. The vast majority, I'm sure you could find, if you dug hard enough, you'd find somebody in the military who didn't like them much, but the vast majority of people respected them. They liked them being involved. The greatest privilege of my life, frankly, leaving aside one or two other things, is getting my medal from the Queen, from meeting her and Princess Anne and the others, Duke of Edinburgh and so forth. I had the privilege of running the 50th anniversary of D-Day in Arromanches in France, when we had more members of the royal family on foreign soil than ever before. And I met with them, and every veteran who was there was absolutely thrilled that the royal family were there in such numbers. So yes. I think anybody who tries to disparage what the members of the royal family do with the military, frankly, wants to be put back in their box.
Well, it's quite possible that those people don't know much about the military and don't understand that connection that you've described very well there. Can I just bring in a listener called Nathan, who says, re Andrew in the Falklands, he was a helicopter pilot over the freezing South Atlantic, in itself dangerous. The ship he was on was an aircraft carrier and a prize target for the Argentinian Air Force and Navy. To say he was hidden from action is ludicrous, and it belittles all the others on the same ship who risked their lives. You'd echo that, wouldn't you, Tim?
Absolutely right.
Yeah. So where does this go then? Do you think we should now settle for the former Prince Andrew living a life of complete obscurity in Norfolk and simply not bothering the headlines ever again? Or do you believe that he should do the decent thing, show some level of decency and talk to the authorities about what he knows?
Well, that's a different issue, of course. My inclination is that I don't know. I don't like, what I'm worried about, frankly, is waking up in a week's time to find the bloke's thrown himself off a bridge.
Well, none of us want that.
Incredible pressure here, and it's very unedifying. I know what he's been accused of, and I think it's terrible, and I'm sure he's been stupid and done all sorts of stupid things. So, should he speak to the authorities? I think probably he should. Is my honest answer. But should we continue to hound this guy like he's going on? No, we should not. I think he's suffered enough, in inverted commas. So, and there's plenty of time for him to be reconciled. There's all sorts of people who've been through done terrible things, and yet have then subsequently worked in the charitable sector, worked elsewhere, and so forth, and have come back into society. There's plenty of cases of that in history. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen to him necessarily. No. He should, I think, speak to the authorities about what he knows about this, terrible business.
Yeah.
But we must remember he's not actually been found guilty of anything.
No, and it's a point worth making. Thank you very much for doing exactly that. Major General Tim Cross, former British Army officer, says basically lay off now. Andrew has suffered enough.